I'm Medicine Hat News reporter Amanda Stevenson. In this online video segment, In Conversation With, I'm talking to Medicine Hat Fire Chief Ron Robinson. Robinson is also the head of the city's disaster response team, which has put him in the spotlight during the current H1N1 situation. So Ron, how long have you been fire chief?
Since December of 2007. I was appointed December 12th, 2007. And it's been an amazing journey in the last almost 2 years. And we've had an opportunity actually to learn a lot more about the city of Medicine Hat and the community as it works together collaboratively in so many facets of delivery. And so I guess the most important part about this job is the ability to influence a recognition for the security and safety of our citizens. And that means building efficiency into our everyday response mechanisms and protocols.
Right, and that works into your role with disaster services then as well, right?
It does. As a matter of fact, the part of the role of fire services, and even trained at basic and advanced firefighting, is disaster services, which is now referred to as emergency management. Because of our level of communications utilizing the incident command structure, fire services is a natural link to emergency management. And that is typical across the province of Alberta and across, in fact, right across North America. So part of my role as a director of emergency management is to ensure that there's continuity in the event of a disaster, whether it be a natural or unnatural disaster, continuity of business and functionality of this community so that people can get back on with having their Timmies, going to a show, getting that necessary food from the grocery store, just everyday life. So our role really is to work in an efficient and a timely manner to get the community back up and running after disaster or calamity.
Okay, sounds really interesting. So did you always know you wanted to be a firefighter then, even when you were a little kid?
Good question. As a matter of fact, because I moved across Canada, my mom and dad were Salvation Army officers, and they're very servanthood-minded, and as I watched them interact with community, I started to really recognize the importance of the public and supporting the public, just even from a young age, just because of the model. And we lived in BC, and then Alberta, and then Ontario. And it just so happens that in St. Thomas, Ontario, my uncle Sparky is a captain there. And that may be the first introduction subliminally that firefighting started to introduce itself into my mind and to interweave itself into my heart. When I moved to Saskatoon a number of years back, one of the first things I did is in grade 12 was ask myself, what kind of a career would I like to be involved in? Of course, two things came to mind. One is accounting, and the other was firefighting. So just as far as they can be apart, a lot of accounting in my family, and my dad always modeled the extreme. So he was an avid hiker and canoeist and so on and so forth. So I chose at that time, at 17 years of age, to go down to the fire station on Idlewild and knock on the door to the office and ask if I could apply for fire services at that time. I was encouraged to continue my education and that at some point in the future apply. So before that occurred, I actually got married to a wonderful woman I met in Saskatoon. We actually moved to Medicine Hat to work. I worked books and did the bookkeeping for Alsan Industries, which is an interesting accounting link, and then worked my way out onto the field into heavy-duty equipment, hydraulics, and that kind of thing. And then because I was on the road so much and leaving my family behind, I heard that council had approved Dunmore Station, number 2, and that they were going to be hiring firefighters. So I was at that point in time sat down and applied for the job, and the rest is history. That was March of 1978.
Wow, that's great.
Just a little while ago.
So now I heard, I think from somebody, that you had recently done some charity work in South America or something like that?
Yes, that really marks my mission-mindedness. We had an opportunity through church groups. There's a interdenominational group that I overheard a Spanish couple talking about providing meals for firefighters in Chile. And so I inquired as to why they would do that. And one thing led to another. So as a result of that conversation, decided that the following year we would try to provide firefighting gear, bunker gear, coats, pants, and some Kevlar gloves. And so we worked with it's called the Firm in Calgary, and they were able to give us approximately $57,000 worth of bunker gear. And so each one of us in our hockey bags took that to Chile, and we presented that as a gift to them. And also at the time I was given an opportunity to train on a couple of evenings, and I had an interpreter there by the name of Felipe Morales, and it was just a wonderful opportunity for communities connecting and helping one another. I went on a couple of very serious calls, and they asked me to critique that for them, and of course that's somewhat difficult to do because, as I explained, just because we're from Canada doesn't mean that we get it all right. But there were a few things that I was able to share with them that we would do in Canada, and they've now actually adopted some of that in their protocol.
That's really interesting.
Now it was interesting as well when we gave them the hockey bags and they opened this. It was like children in a candy store, just being able to take whatever they want. It was a phenomenal experience. Now there is a wonderful relationship that we've developed. They've actually established a monument, and there's a flag, Canadian flag up there, as well as a plaque identifying. They've changed their name to include Canada. It's Debama Canada, and it also has a plaque commemorating the Medicine Hat Fire Service. The city of Medicine Hat was instrumental in providing them with this equipment and training.
That's great. So did you feel like when you came back, did you feel like you had a new perspective? Because a lot of people who visit developing countries kind of feel like they have kind of a personal, life-changing experience.
Yeah, it really did have that impact on me. In fact, the pride with which every volunteer firefighter, there's 900 volunteer over 100 square mile radius, and in that 100 square kilometer or 100 square kilometers, I guess it is, there are 1 million people and 11 stations. And we were supporting Station 11, which is Station 11, because they were the poorest of all the stations. Their entire budget for the year is 10,000 Canadian dollars. So for us to give them that equipment would be unheard of. It demonstrated to me that the pride with which they serve their community and the willingness to sacrificially give is really what the heart and soul of a firefighter is all about. Mm-hmm. As they opened up their scroll doors on their rescue units, displaying equipment which was far inferior to what we have, my heart really went out to them, and naturally that would be something that I want to continue to develop as we go on into the future.
That's great.